Hello, everybody, and welcome to the RCD ShareNet. How are you doing? My name is Dave Thompson, and I am one of the team members here for the ShareNet on YouTube. And today we have a peer sharing offering for you. And what we're doing with these scenarios, we're calling them, is we're giving you accounts of things that we've had happen to us here, people that have come in, questions they've asked, switch situations they've been in. And we've put them into scenarios that sort of give you another perspective. So if, especially if you're new to an illness or a disability or a recent accident, you may not have a lot of comparison tools to sort of know where you are, where you're at, what other people have done in similar situations as you. So these are kind of really good. It's not like don't do that, it's not like do this or don't do that. It's just this is what happened to this person. If you can see any comparison points or anything like that, maybe you can glean something from it, or maybe you can remember not to do that or avoid doing that. So this is why we do these. So the case studies are going to be looking at several different people, and it's real accounts that hopefully will empower and inform you and give you that other perspective. In the next 2 weeks, I will be looking at 2 different cases where the resulting time difference of the onset of the illness made the reactions extremely different. So we're going to get started. So the theme for this one today is called 36 to 66 in 6 months. I know it's hard to say. The incident originally was the case of a 35-year-old man who had a minor fall on a flight of stairs. Within about 2 weeks, he had extreme lower back stiffness. The original diagnosis from his medical doctor was a herniated disc with pain to the lower back and groin. Within 6 months, the pain had migrated full body, nose to toes. The final diagnosis, after about a year and a half, was a rare form of fibromyalgia called post-traumatic hyperirritability syndrome. It took about a year and a half for diagnosis. Symptoms and effects. So as it is with standard aging, our physical and mental abilities will change and lessen over long periods of time. We all start using reading glasses and things like that. And that usually happens in a normal sort of route. In this situation, this person literally aged 30 years within a 6-month period. So he was doing all the things that a 65-year-old man would do, forgetting numbers, leaving oven on, all those sort of things that would affect someone much longer in age. And of course, to that happening, you don't have that time frame to sort of get to be all right with that mentally and physically and emotionally if you get hit with all those changes all at once. So that's where this was very affected him. So basically it was emotionally and physically and cognitively as well. So the primary symptoms that he had was insomnia and lack of restorative sleep. And that affects hugely of your cognitive behavior, your memory, your emotionals. If you're asleep or in a tired state all the time, for the first couple of the years, he had maybe 1 or 2 hours sleep, and then maybe 3 or 4 was the norm. And it takes a while for the body to ever really get used to 3 or 4 hours sleep a day. And you know that it's adding up in the long term and probably taking years off your life as you go along. So there was with more physical stuff, there was muscle weakness, stiffness, and significant muscle spasming. So the arms would fly up. He would actually hit people on buses and things like that. And there's a big loss of stamina, energy, balance, and strength. So these are the things that basically affected him within that 6-month period. The results and the reactions, though, over about a 20-year period, significant trials and tribulations, of course, and the subject utilized a combination of approaches to address his changing abilities. He explored the use of many pieces of adaptive equipment, exercise, movement therapies, and with varying results. Many things that were more standard, other things that weren't that well known, and he had some good results with either ones. He utilized a daily strategy of planning, pacing, patience, and prioritization. So those 4 P's were huge every day. Developed over a certain amount of time. He was able to put those into practice every day, and that helped with the management of the pain. Employing daily distraction therapy techniques and activities to keep the mind occupied so they're not focusing on the pain. Volunteering, returning to post-secondary education, and part-time employment and work came after several years, about 10 years. He utilized a lot of computer-based technologies, such as voice-to-text, text-to-voice. Yet, in the early years when he first got diagnosed, he may have spent a little bit too much time over-researching, which can happen a lot of times when you start to believe Dr. Google, as they say. He relied heavily on pharmaceutical-based therapies for many years. What the doctor gave him, that's what the doctor said to take, that's what he took. And he's definitely started to experiencing negative symptoms from that long-term consumption. So those are quite concerning over a long period of time. He's now entered into a long-term plan of dropping the significant painkillers and those pharmaceuticals so that he can be in a state where it's a decision between symptom of the illness or side effect of the medication. Which one's worse? Which one can he handle more better? So that's how he handled his changing abilities. Had some good stories. He had some good successes, some sort of bad decisions along the way, trying certain unregulated health sort of products. One time sent him into the hospital emergency. And these are things that a lot of people will have to confront when they're sort of on their own for an illness that doesn't have a huge amount of support. So in closing, remember, before you make any significant changes to whatever medical situation you have, that you consult your care team. This is one person's reaction to being confronted with this illness. There is no right or wrong here. We're just giving you something to compare it to. Maybe all of a sudden you just go, yeah, that's just like me. Oh, okay. All right. We hope these scenarios have informed you. And if you would like any more information about any of this sort of stuff, please contact us here at RCD, and be sure to subscribe and like our videos when you can. So coming up on the 14th of June, I will be doing a second scenario in changing abilities. So I hope to see you then. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.